Yes, Joe. How would you evaluate how Ben played? Given the defense he was going against, and Chad said his shoulders a little bunged up. Kind of what are you expecting from him this week? And I guess the whole man might have to kind of reevaluate everything again. Possibly, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he did what he could at times. I think, a lot of times, he was hard to even set his feet. I thought he did a nice job of stepping up in the pocket at times. You saw him step up in the pocket. They brought pressure that he got slid and picked up, stepped up in the pocket, hit CJ for a touchdown. I think other times, he would step up in the pocket and, be getting hit right as he's throwing. So, with all that being said, I thought he played about as good as he could, considering the circumstances. And, I even asked him after the game how he felt, and he said he felt like he got hit by a car, So he showed a lot of guts, a lot of toughness standing in the pocket. He stared down the barrel, what we say all the time, standing in the pocket, and guys are blitzing at you, and they're coming. And he stood in there nice and tried to deliver the ball under pressure. So we'll reevaluate how he's feeling tomorrow at practice.
If he's healthy, is he quarterback this week?
That's something we'll reevaluate at practice and see how he's. I mean, he could be healthy but still not be 100%. It's kind of one of those things. We'll just see how he's doing.
I'm not sure the struggles up front with the offensive line, with the injuries that you guys have had, and being a little bit lighter up front and younger at times. How much has that impacted what you're able to do at quarterback?
Yeah, I think I think it's a lot of things. I think it's the whole unit. I don't want to just single out one unit. I think at times we got to get open quicker. We got to do a better job of blocking at other positions, tight end, running backs, as well as the offensive line. We gave up 3 sacks the other night, and 2 of them were on the offensive line, and 1 was on tight end. So I think it's just a whole unit. I don't think it's just one unit in particular. We try to do a lot of things in the game to help us get the ball off, and so we got to continue to build on those things, chip plan, sprinting out, max protection plan, and those are the things you got to do to try to help everybody and be a good unit all together, not just one unit strong, just all units strong, and be able to be a good offense.
If Caps can't play with a concussion, I mean, is Adcock next, or do you reevaluate that as well?
Yeah, we'll have to look. We're gonna try a couple things. I thought Kirby came in and did okay, did some good things in there. Got to improve a little bit on some things, but he came in and played hard, gave great effort. But we're gonna look at a couple different guys in there and just see who gives us the best chance.
Joe, last year's game plan against Bama, could you maybe revisit why it was successful? And they've had a lot of personnel changes. And how do you evaluate what you need to do for this year's game too?
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about schematics of last year's game, but I think we did some pretty good things schematically, and we went and executed. Our guys did, and that was a credit to them for learning the plan, some different things. We kind of kept them off balance early. That really helped us, but I think that you can take some of that for this year as well. But they're a lot different defense, in my opinion. They got a lot of young guys playing, as well as a mixture of some older guys that have played a lot of snaps for them. So I think you can take some of that, but I also think we got to look at what they're doing now and some changes that they've made and different personnel. And I think they're a little bit better on the back end this year, than last year. And so. Be a big challenge for us, obviously, on the road at their place at night. Be a big challenge for us.
How much differently are you having to call a game when those two guys are in at different times? I mean, I get you have to do it based on skill set, but how much differently are you having to call the
You talking
games?
about with the quarterback?
Yeah, with the quarterbacks, with Ben versus Nick, and their abilities to be able to throw the ball in different spots on the field.
Yeah, I think both guys have their set strengths and set weaknesses. One of them runs a little bit better than the other. One of them obviously has a stronger arm than the other. I think and one of them's been in the system for a little bit longer than the other one, so you can do a little bit more. And that's kind of what last week we thought, from all the pressures that Auburn had showed on film and the different things that they were doing. I think you saw Ben, was able to understand what was coming and get his protection slid the right way in those pressure packages, not just base defense. I'm talking really more so their third down sub package stuff that Ben was able to recognize and get himself protected. So each one has their set deals, and you have to play off their strengths.
Well, this kind of going back home for you, where you're from. How does that feel when you go back to Alabama? You know, close to the Birmingham area and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I'll have a lot of people that I know being there. You know, we're staying in Birmingham, you know, so where I'm from. I'm actually, you know, grew up about 15 minutes from where we're staying, but, you know, it feels good to, you know, maybe see some old friends and old family members that I hadn't seen in a while.
And Chad said Myron played better. How did he do out there at left tackle, and how do you feel about him? You know, if Colton can't
Yeah, I
go
thought
again?
Myron came in and did a really nice job. His length really showed up, his quickness. You know, that's his normal position. You know, we've been trying to play him at guard, you know, to get what we felt like was our best guys on the field, and at times, and especially when you know, didn't know how good Ricky could be as a freshman. But moving Myron back to his natural position, you definitely saw what he's all about. He had a really, I wouldn't say great game, but he had a good game, did some really good things in there.
Just what do you see overall from Alabama's defense, and how do they compare with what you've played so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've obviously, you know, got really good players. They've done a really good job for years recruiting. You know, they're playing 2 freshmen at linebacker, and you know, number 8 really to me stands out a lot. He flies around to the ball. He's a big guy. You know, any freshman that they're playing obviously is going to be a pretty good player if they're playing as freshmen for them. So, like I said, they're really good on the back end. They do a really nice job. They got a lot of speed at safety. You know, and up front, you know, you look at a guy like number 33. Again, he's a senior that's played a lot for him. And remember him, watching him on tape. 99, Raekwon Davis is a really good player. He's a big man with quick twitch. That we're gonna have to do a good job inside. So, like I said, it'll be a really good challenge for us going on the road against number 1 team in the country at their place.
Joe, when you guys watch the film and the plays that Knox made on the kind of the back shoulder, and then Burks tipping it to himself, what do you guys do on plays like that? And what did you think of those two?
Yeah, you know, the one to Trey, I mean, that's what, you know, we hung our hat on a lot at our couple previous stops at Clemson. You know, when you had a guy like DeAndre Hopkins and Taj Boyd throwing the ball, you know, we made a lot of those back shoulder type plays. And, you know, that's something that, you know, we try to pride ourselves in our offense on, is we take a lot of shots down the field and being able to read that back shoulder. So it was really good to see Ben read that back shoulder and give him a good ball. And it was really good to see Trey open his hips and make that play there on the sideline. Again, it just takes a lot of repetition, a lot of you know, knowing each other, being on the same page with each other. It's not something that's easy to do. You really have to practice it, and you really have to get good at it. But once you get good at it, it's really hard to stop. So that's one of the things that we love about our offense. You know, throwing the ball down the field and being able to make those. Obviously, Traylon made an unbelievable play. I'd like to say I coached him to make that play, but that's just him being a really good player. You know, he's going to be a phenomenal player, like I've said here, for years to come. And he's really starting to figure it out, and kind of, you know, the whoever we play is not too big for him. You know, the lights aren't too big for him, and you know, he wants the ball in his hand as much as we can get it to him. All right, thanks.